Hey, it's Clay Trader at claytrader.com. In this video, I want to go over an example that literally just happened to me not that long ago, and it's I want to do it because it gives a good, honest, realistic look into trading. There's a lot of stuff out there, especially when people are trying to sell stuff to you, that makes trading all seem so glamorous, and it's always rainbows and butterflies and sweet old ladies and puppies and ice cream cones. And while it can certainly be that, there's no denying it can also be, it's not always like that, and it can get nitty and gritty. It can get frustrating, and this is an example of that. However, along with that, in the video, I want to show that this stuff being charts and having a plan and all that, it really does work. Now, is it going to work out to perfection? Well, that's where the frustrations come in. But I want people to know and want to show, within a real life situation, that charting and things really do work. There's nothing worse than seeing a textbook or something where somebody has 1,000 examples to go through, and then you can think, well, are they just selecting and nitpicking one little example in order to fit whatever they're trying to talk about? Well, in this, you can see it's going to be about as real as it gets. So to just kind of provide some more context, first thing I want to point out is that this is the 2-minute chart, meaning each one of these candlesticks represents 2 minutes worth of price action. And then second, I want you to pay attention down there to this gray box. That is just going to show the time and the date of things. So you can see as I move it down, that's just showing each candlestick and what time it's at. So at this point in time, again, look down there, you can see there's a gray box moving around. When this price action was going on, it was 9:38 on 11:14. And at that point in time, I alerted to my private trading group in the chat room that we have, GILD, dead cat on 2 minute. Dead cat just meaning fake bounce. So fake bounce, this could be a nice shorting opportunity. And all shorting means, if you're not familiar with that, is you can make money when prices go down. If you want to learn more about that, then there's lots of resources out there. But in a nutshell, shorting allows you to make money when prices go down. So as I told everybody, more of a rhetorical question, is this a dead cat bounce? It's kind of shaping up to be one. What made me say that? Well, that's a whole nother lesson there in terms of charts. But looking at the chart, it made me think, what, this really looks like a dead cat bounce. So I wanted to let people know that I was watching. And then the first realistic and honest part of trading, life happens. I work from home, and when you work from home, things happen. I have 2 kids and a wife, so you just things happen. I had to I wasn't able to actually take advantage of this move here. What do I mean by that? Well, if I had shorted some shares, meaning now I would be looking for the price to go down, you can see that's exactly what started to happen. And at this point, yeah, that's pretty frustrating. But you know what? Everything's not always perfect. There's going to be little hiccups like that. But first learning lesson here is, just because things may not go your way right away doesn't mean you need to get frustrated and turn off your computer and say, that's it, I'm done with the day. No, stay with it, keep watching, and you'll see that over time, so you can imagine, my frustrations were building that much more. But then finally right here during this candle, you can see, again, look down at that gray box, this was 9:48. So at 9:48, I tried to short 1,000 shares. Again, I'm thinking the price is still going to go down, so if it goes down, I will make money. However, you can see 9:48. Out of those 1,000 shares that I wanted to short, I got 72. 72 shares out of 1,000. Partial fills, next learning example, and an honest, realistic look. It's going to happen. Sometimes you're going to have partial shares. I know some people say, well, why don't you use an all or nothing order? Well, my theory or my philosophy on that is, I'd rather get a partial fill and still be able to take advantage of a bigger move rather than get absolutely nothing at all. However, in this case, 72 shares, that's going to be pretty hard to take advantage of any sort of move. So, I went for 1,000, got 72. And then the price dropped, and it was one of those things where 72, it's not even worth my time. So I think I made $18, whatever the math is on that. So I made 35 cents. Now, had I gotten all 1,000, 35 every 10 cents on 1,000 shares would be $100. So that would have been $200 or $350. But that's not the frustrating part, because just let's see what happens here. Again, I originally alerted it up here to the chat room, and it's already rolled back over this far. So this was indeed a dead cat bounce. But let's just keep on going and see what happens. And then look at that. So again, looking for 1,000 at 102.35. Now it's dropped below 101.35. So I would be up $1 already. So up $1,000. And I should note that, the stop loss strategies and stuff that I teach in my training, I would still be in. So, I mean, this would be just a great trade. Even better, even if I'd gotten in up here, I would still be in. So that would have been that much more. And then look at that. Now it's dropped down over $2. And it finally did bounce there. But here, dropped down over $2. That would have been, up over $2,000. And remember, these are only 2-minute candles. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I got in right here. So in about 12 minutes, $2,000. I understand this is all hindsight, but I want you to realize that, I was going for 102.35, and the chart just completely collapsed. So talk about frustrating. I mean, this would have been perfect, but right here would have been another just almost semi-secondary kind of perfect entry to get in. Now, I'm not patting myself on the back because, this is just all charts. It's not some magic secret formula. It's just a matter of learning charts, knowing what to recognize. And I'm not getting into that in this video because, that I just don't have enough time. And it's just one of those things where, that's not the point. I just want to get across that and let people know that I'm not proclaiming to have a secret system, a magic formula. It's just charts. If you put in the time and effort to learn charts, you can find setups like this. Now, is every single one going to collapse like that? That would be disingenuous on my part. No, every single one, as much as I wish I could say, would collapse like this. That doesn't happen every time, but it does happen, and that's why, you should never, get frustrated. Sure, the one thing I did do right is I didn't get frustrated. I didn't, turn off my computer and walk away. I tried to get in, but I only got in the amount of 72 shares. And then you can see that would have turned out that much better. But, the point being, get out there. Don't get frustrated if you think you miss original moves because there may be another opportunity. But just don't understand this stuff happens. I'm sitting here. Am I frustrated? Yeah, I'm frustrated. But I also, you may be thinking, well, why don't you hop back in? Well, that's where emotions get into trading because, it was falling apart and it could, I was thinking this move could be happening at any point. Actually, where is it at right now? Okay, so it's pretty much, you can see this candle's moving. Like I said, the day is still going right now. Yep, right now it's 10:26 in the morning, and you can see right down there in that gray box, it says 10:26, and you will see that candle move around because the day is still, open. But, so back to my point, why didn't I short right here? Well, that's where emotions get in, and you don't want to chase and stuff like that. So, yeah, in hindsight, it looks like, well, you could have just shorted there. Well, yeah, but at that time, you just never know, and, I don't want the frustrations to... It's okay to be frustrated outside of trading, but if I would have then started to short here out of my frustration, that's where emotions trickle down and transfer into the trading, and that's what we don't want. We want to trade without emotion. It's fine to be frustrated outside like I am right now, but I'm not going to let that, sneak back into my trading and then cause me to, have chase the price. So, just keep all this stuff in mind. Trading, as you can see, can be great. I mean, it can be very profitable. $2,000 in 12 minutes, and that's not theoretical. That this was all, I think I did a good job of documenting when things were alerted and when I try to do things at certain times. It just didn't work out, and sometimes things just don't work out, and that's just the way it goes. So if there are any other questions or anything, please leave your comments below, and I'd be happy to try to answer any questions you have. But I just get sick and tired of seeing all the marketing out there and sales pitches about how great trading always is and you can make a lot of money. Yeah, you can make a lot of money and you can, things can really work out in your favor. However, it just doesn't happen all the time. Nothing is going to be perfect. There is no perfect strategy because life gets in the way. Point up here, that would have been the ideal entry, but that was just life getting in the way. That's just how it happens. And then other times, you just don't get in. The market just didn't give me shares, and that's how it went. So there's money to be made, but don't walk around thinking that every single opportunity is going to be, is going to work out perfectly in your favor. Again, thank you for watching, and leave any questions or comments below.